let's get into it. What did I learn this week? I revisited my love of Papa's Pizzeria. I discovered that I like iced tea with Splenda and lemon in it. Fantastic beverage. And I learned to rediscover and find love for everything I once hated about life. And this all three of these connect, I swear, but this week I had a lot of reflection because I was playing my old Spotify playlists and I started listening to one I used to listen to about a year ago. When I was riding the bus at 6 a.m., I had about a 3 hour bus ride from where I was living to my work at the restaurant. And I had this one playlist that I would just play while I wrote sad poetry on the bus. And that's just what I did. So I listened to it the other day because I needed to find some inspiration with writing, and I was like, why don't I try my sad playlists? Why don't I do that? So I started listening to it, and this one song by Noah Kahan, and it's called The View Between Villages. And it is like one of the most beautifully written, absolutely heart-wrenching song in the world. And I used to listen to it like 24/7 because I was like, I'm gonna do something with my life. I'm gonna do something with my life. I'm gonna get out of this town one day. Like, I'm gonna do something with my life. I'm gonna make something of myself. I'm gonna accomplish something. I just don't know what. I'm gonna express my soul on this planet in any way that it wants to be fucking expressed. Because that's the way I look at accomplishment and success. It isn't about like, oh, I have $1 billion in my bank account and I'm like an A-list celebrity. I think about if I haven't expressed my soul and shared myself the way that my soul wishes to be expressed, I've done a disservice to myself. And so I knew that my soul wanted to speak, it wanted to express itself. I just didn't know how I was going to do that. And I thought back to that version of me who was, sitting in a trench coat because the seats on the bus were so cold. You had to wear a long coat to cover your butt so you weren't cold. And she was writing like hundreds of pages of poetry, and she was so fucking sad because she had no idea how she was going to become who she always wanted to be. And I was listening. I had my AirPod in and I was mopping up the restaurant and that song came on. And I sat there for a moment. And I stood there for a moment mopping the same floors that I've been mopping for 3 years. And I finally thought to myself, I have become everything I've wanted to be. And I've been working so hard that I didn't take a moment to turn around and see the view from where I was to where I am now. Like, I didn't actually see the distance. And I didn't actually see the distance I had come. And so I stood there listening to that song and I was like, whoa, you have put a lot of work into yourself, Bailey. You have worked very hard to get to where you are, and I'm very proud of you. And that was the first time, I think, in a really long time, like in about 3 years, that I've actually said that I was proud of myself and meant it. And so I went home that day and I thought, what else do I love? Like, what else did the younger versions of me love that I've been neglecting? And one of them was Papa's Freezeria and Papa's Pizzeria. I don't know if you guys have ever played that version of games, but it's basically where you're like, you work in a restaurant and you're making all these sandwiches and you're working in a restaurant and you can choose what kind of restaurant you're working in. It's an online game. It's called like Papa's Pizzeria, if you look it up. And I love those games so much. And I always used to play them like 24/7 as a kid. That was like my go-to game. And so I came home and I started playing them on my laptop just after work, which is kind of obscure, which is absolutely ludicrous to work all day as a waitress and then come home and play a game about waitressing. Yeah, I know how strange it sounds, but that like ignited my soul for a second because I was like, you know what? This is really fun. And I haven't let myself just have fun like this in a moment. And then also another thing I loved as a kid, I was a huge sweet tea drinker. Say that 3 times fast, my God. As a kid, like I would love raspberry tea, I'd love lemon tea, I'd love just regular sweet tea. That was my jam as a kid. And so I was like, why am I not doing that? Like, why am I not celebrating those past versions of me who tried so hard and were working so hard to get me where I am today? And I've been writing poetry again, and I even found my old trench coat and I wore it, and I bought a new trench coat and I've been wearing that. And I think I've been working so hard in my life to finally reach a place of stability that when I was here, I didn't even realize that I was here. I didn't even realize that I had this freedom. And Made me look around for a second and realize that life gave me lemons and I made them into lemonade. That in the most poetic way I can say, I took the sour punishments that were a part of God's plan and I turned them into the most blissful drink imaginable. And here's something else I was thinking about. For everything that exists, there is an opposite, meaning that if we feel an intense amount of joy, an intense amount of happiness, we are capable of experiencing the exact opposite. We are capable of experiencing extreme amounts of depression, extreme amounts of grief, extreme amounts of sadness within the same person. The same way you can be on top of the world, you can be in your rock bottom. For everything that exists, there is an equal opposite that could occur, or there is an equal opposite that did occur. And I think it's really hard when you're in those rock bottoms to think, oh yeah, I'm feeling intense sadness and intense like depression right now. This is gonna last forever. I'm never gonna feel any different from this. Without also acknowledging that life changes with every given moment. So the second that you feel sadness, the very next second you could feel happiness. You have no idea what's about to happen. You have no idea what's about to happen. And so obviously I had that whole conversation where I'm like, oh my God, I wish I could go back in time and tell that younger version of me that everything was going to be okay and everything was going to be all right. But I can't do that, obviously. I can just move forward with the acknowledgement that whenever I'm feeling sad, I know that happiness can happen once again. It's not like, oh, I'm going to feel sadness forever. This is a permanent state that is never going to be altered. The same way that happiness is not a permanent state that can never be altered. We can feel happiness and the very next second we can feel sadness. Life is a moving, changing machine. It is a moving, changing body of water that we are not in control of. And the sooner we recognize that, the sooner it will be a lot easier to live. But that point aside, life gave me lemons and I made lemonade out of it. And I have been just grinding and grinding and grinding, trying to make those lemons into lemonade. And the other day, I took up a cup. I grabbed a cup and I finally tasted the sweetness that I'd been creating in my own life. And for a second, I acknowledged how delicious it was. And I've got to say to you guys, whatever life throws at you, make sure you fucking hit a home run, okay? Because when you are down, and you are defeated, and you think that nothing is going to ever get better, get the fuck back up, okay? The very next second of your life could be the very best second of your life. You have no idea what is going to happen next.
Hi, Editing Bailey here. You have to be prepared for the joy that's about to enter your life, because I guarantee you there are opportunities, there is joy, there are people making their way to you right now, and you will not be ready to receive the blessings that are headed your way unless you pull your head out of your ass, stop acting like a victim, and get up and do what you know is right for you. And I mean that with all the love and care in the world, because I understand that it's easier to fall into depression, it's easier to fall into a bad mood, it's easier to say, this is my shitty, fucked up, messed up life, and that's how it's always going to be. Or you could get up and say, I'm going to make the best of this so that when the blessings do come, I'm able to acknowledge them and I'm able to accept them. Because the more you practice pessimism, the more you will shove away everything that is good for you when it finally comes to you.
You have no idea the highs and lows that life will take you to. So always remember, this moment is sacred. This moment is not forever. This moment is temporary. This moment is something that could end in the very next second. So I need you to hold this moment with an intense amount of gratitude and an intense amount of detachment. And understand that whatever life hands to you is yours to hold. And life's gonna hand you some shitty things. Life's a bitch, okay? Life is a fucking bitch. And whatever life has decided to hand to you, always make something beautiful out of it. Do not sit with your situation and pity yourself. Do not give up hope that there is changing it. Do not think about the negative aspects of what you are going through. Look towards the future with a glimmer of hope, because I guarantee you the hopeful ones are the ones that make it. The ones that choose to never see themselves as stuck, because the only person stopping you is you here. Other people have been handed quite literally the same situations that you have, and they have rose from that. And the only difference between you and them is their delusional hope that things were going to get better. Because when life throws you a curveball, when life gives you rotten lemons, when life decides that this is something that you have to endure and you have no choice, endure. Endure and survive like your fucking ancestors did, okay? If our ancestors could survive saber-toothed tigers, we can survive the emotional storm and the emotional trauma of the modern day world. We can do this. It's not fun, it's not happy, but we can do this. And I've been so busy building up my strength that I didn't even acknowledge the strength it had taken to get here. How each and every past version of me fought so hard to keep me here, to keep me fighting, to keep me carrying forward, that I wanted to take a chance to celebrate them, to hold space for them, to give them love, because I wouldn't be here without their delusional hope that things were gonna get better. Because whoop-de-fucking-do, it did. But if they had given up, if they had stuck in that desperation that things were always going to be that way, if they had stuck in that feeling that nothing's ever gonna get better, this is my life now, and I have to learn to accept that. Don't learn to accept the situations that make you feel shitty. Have delusional hope that things will get better and work towards that future with every ounce of strength you got. Always, always believe it can get better. Because I don't know if God can hear your thoughts. I don't know if it is a psychology thing. But the more you believe something will happen, the more likely it is to happen. So what's the point of not working on yourself, for yourself, towards a future that you're not even sure you can get to, but you're gonna try like hell? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Because I've been trying like hell my whole life. And finally things are falling into place. And I owe it to hope. I owe it to my younger selves. I owe it to every moment that I thought I was going to fall apart, but I came back together. I owe it for every late night sobbing on the bathroom floor evening that happened. I owe it to every moment. I owe it to every late night drive. I owe it to every venting session on the phone with my friend. I owe it to every evening that I could have given up and I kept going. I owe everything to my past selves that fought so hard to get me here. And right now, you on the other end of here are, in the best way I can word this to get this thought out, you are currently a past version of your future self. Everything you do, everything you are, is currently building your future. And one day your future self will either look back and say, wow, I wish we worked harder, or they would say, thank God they fought so hard to get me where I am today. And that's what I mean about delusional hope. You have to believe that that future version of yourself is sitting in a CEO chair, or you have to believe that that future version of you is winning a Grammy, or you got to believe that that future version of you is graduating with that master's degree. You have to believe that that future version of you is worth fighting for. Because I know that when I was playing Papa's Freezeria as a kid, I dreamt of being where I am today. Every heartbreak, every loss, every cut, every injury, every moment of trauma and abuse that I survived through has resulted in me being the strongest version of myself and has resulted in everything I have in my life. And I just want to thank myself here for a moment for doing that work. And you should thank yourself for all the work you've done in your life to get you where you are today. And I gotta say that whatever life throws at you, make sure you hit a fucking home run.